Welcome back to Eliances Heroes, where heroes in business align. To be part of our super community and find out more about Eliances, visit www.Eliances.com. Now, back to our super host, David Cogan, founder of Eliances.
I love my job. It has been incredible. In fact, we started off the show with the protector, Michael Peters, with Alliance.com. He is the CEO and security expert. We just had the CEO of Cinnabon. We'll be ending the show with the hero who's converting existing fleet vehicles into low-carbon footprints. That's Mitchell Yao with TorqueTrends.com. But now, unbelievable. You know, in the past, we've had some other amazing heroes on, too. President of the United Nations, John Paul DeJoria. But it's my pleasure to interview and introduce the entrepreneur rebel billionaire. He is Sir Richard Branson, the founder of Virgin Group. Now, his movie that he has coming out is called Don't Look Down. It's a documentary of a crash that occurred while trying to break world records flying the world's largest hot air balloon. Good morning to you, Richard. What inspired you to share with the world your story of Don't Look Down?
Nice to talk to you. I was a young man. I attempted to be the first person to cross the Atlantic and then the Pacific and then to go around the world in hot air balloons. It was very hair-raising, very adventurous, tremendous fun, but we were on the edge of our seats for a lot of the time. And my son owns a documentary film-making company called Sundance. Sundog, Sundance, called Sundog. And he thought, you know, it'd be great to turn it into a gripping documentary, which I think he's done and done a great job with.
Now, knowing what you know now that happened, I mean, would you ever try this again?
If I was a sane person, I shouldn't. But I'm not necessarily a sane person. I love a challenge. I love adventure. I love to push myself to the limit and see what I'm capable of. And I have great difficulty saying no. I mean, I'm known as Dr. Yes. And, you know, when these things go well, I mean, like, you know, we for instance, crossed Mount Everest and K2 and went all the way down the Himalaya chain. It's absolutely stunningly beautiful. When things go wrong, it's obviously absolutely terrifying. And I think what the film manages to capture is the terrifying moments where, you know, I've seen kids sitting on the edge of their seat looking around at me to see if I'm still alive, and the beautiful moments. And I think it's got a really, you know, it's worked really well because of that.
And again, you can go to don'tlookdownfilm.com, or you can also go to Eliances.com, and we'll have a link to that, ELIANCES.com, the place where entrepreneurs align. Now, let's also talk about, you mentioned in one of the commercial clips about your mother. Let's talk about what she did, both impact she had in your personal and perhaps business life.
Well, I mean, I was fortunate to have come from a family of a lot of love. But equally, my mum was an adventurous woman herself, and you know, she did not want to, as she would call it, mollycoddle us. She wanted us to, you know, get on our bikes age 6 and, you know, travel 200 or 300 miles or she'd push us out of the car and make us walk 5 miles to our grandmother's, so, you know, she wanted us to stand on our own 2 feet quite early on in life. Today, I suspect she would get arrested for some of the things she did, but somehow we survived, and I think we were the better for it.
Well, she raised an incredible human being, and that's you. What do you think is the amazement that people have when they see hot air balloons? I mean, people of all ages. I have 2 kids, and whenever we see hot air balloons, everybody just usually gasps, and they stare when they see one. What do you think the obsession is?
They're very beautiful. They are very good to the environment. You travel where the wind takes you. I mean, for instance, when we were crossing the Pacific, we were aiming for Los Angeles. We missed Los Angeles by 2,500 miles and ended up in the Arctic. So you never know where you're going to go in a hot air balloon. And I think that's one of the attractions. Actually, it's just you have no idea where you're going to land. You're away from it all, and you're looking down at the beautiful countryside in a very graceful, serene way.
Now, this movie too is about the crash, and they say that your life flashes in front of you. Can you describe that in detail?
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're facing death, which I did on a number of occasions on those ballooning voyages, it's a very sad feeling. I mean, like, I love life. I love the adventure of what I was doing, but when you think that your life is coming to an end, it's not the best feeling in life, and I had to fight very hard to survive, and I also had to have a lucky star above us to help us survive. Across the Pacific, this was a long, drawn out 40 hours where it looked like we were going to die, and it was time. It was 48 hours to reflect, but more importantly, 48 hours to fight to get the balloon right into the core of the jet stream up at 40,000 feet to try to get the balloon to go as fast as possible in order to hopefully make land. And where I've watched this film. With kids, I mean, they find it very gripping. They're on the edge of the seat, and they look at me and think, is he alive? And I'm very glad. I have to keep telling them, don't worry, I'm alive. It's going to have a happy ending. But it makes for a gripping film.
And again, we're talking with Sir Richard Branson, talking about Don't Look Down. You can go and see don'tlookdown.com, or again, to Eliances, ELIANCES.com. So I got to ask you, Richard, if you didn't survive the crash, what would you have wanted people to remember about you?
I think when you finally disappear in life, what really matters is whether you brought up decent children, whether they can sort of carry the mantle forward, and that's your principal purpose being in life, I think, and your family, your friends. I hope that in the other areas, that we've made a bit of a difference in a number of ways, and I hope that our team can continue the various Virgin things and the various not-for-profit things that we do going forward. But anyway, I hope they say he lived life to its full, and he made a little bit of a difference.
And we've only got a little over a minute left, but I've been getting a lot of texts, and maybe to ask you this one question is that you're a family man, you have grandchildren. What would you like your grandchildren and family to learn from you to take out into the world and to make the type of impact that you have on so many?
Well, I mean, I hope that our children and grandchildren will be respectful of everybody. And I think one sad thing that's happened both in Britain and America recently is the lack of respect for minority groups and people that are different to us, so-called different to us. And I hope I brought up my kids to love people, whether they're black, gray, white, whether they're gay, whatever kind of person they are, whether they're disabled, and that kind of lack of respect that seems to have crept into society recently in some areas. I'd I despair about and very sad to see. But we all need to fight it.
Wow is what I have to say. Incredible. That's right. What's a hero? A hero is one that can manage 400-plus companies. Sir Richard Branson, the CEO of Virgin.com. You are a risk taker. You are the hero. Go to don'tlookdown.com. And special thanks to LoopyDocs.com for all your editing needs, glue. And also a shout-out to CaliberCo.com. They're doing amazing things, and they're such a strong supporter of Eliances and our community. Thank you again, David Cogan with Eliances.